we live? Are we live? Are we alive? Oh, there we go.
Yes, Gunner.
Did you get your free health insurance yet?
No, the servers were down all day.
Oh, they must have. It must have, run them on the same ones that they were running GTA Online with. I mean, it's pretty much the same difference. Is the government shut down? Jesus. We start the show.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, everybody, and welcome to episode 91 of Woogit Series. I'm Gunner, that is Omega BR.
If I wanted to wait this long to be able to shoot somebody, I just deal with a real gun store.
And over here to my metaphysical right is the one and only Yankum DS.
Good evening, everyone.
And joining us this week, back from the nether that is the acting world, Net Jester.
Well, I suppose that is the end of
Net Jester.
Mon Capitan! He's back!
¿Qué pasa? ¿Dónde están mis pantalones?
When Net Jester came in to the room here, I only had one thing to say. ¿Por qué?
Is that anything like parquet?
Oh god! Alright, so by the way,
admit it.
By the way, I'm such a mark for the whole month of Paris. Not gonna lie, that was an awesome entrance, and we're going to be talking about that probably later. But for now, we're talking about the news. There are conflicting reports on Rob Van Dam's contract status, with PW Insider claiming that he has 9-day blocks in his contract, the Observer claiming that there is pressure on him to sign a more definitive contract. WWE also has shown interest in CLL star Volador Jr., as well as New Japan stars Prince Devitt and Carl Anderson, which isn't terribly surprising since they're the most over gaijin over there at NJPW. Former tag team partner of Tensai, who was making $100,000 in the company before WWE lured him away with 4 times the amount. WWE is way less interested than Rashid would think in AJ Styles, who's like 34, whose contract extension is up at the end of the year. ROH star QT Marshall is currently a free agent and works some dark matches for WWE. Karma has told the Future Endeavors podcast he is ready to return to the company and credits DDP Yoga for recent weight loss. Let me tell you something about that DDP Yoga. That shit works. I love it.
Yeah. Carl Anderson recently appeared in Ring of Honor. He looked pretty good. Van Dam, say what you will about Van Dam, but, he's still respectably over with the crowd. And, he hasn't really changed up his act at all, but, it's still a pretty enjoyable act, particularly if, the crowd hasn't seen him, the current crowd hasn't seen him before, you know what I mean?
Exactly. He's still over with the fans, and that's what's most important. I still like the guy, even.
You guys think that Karma will be back by the end of the year?
God, I hope so.
Something needs to happen in the
maybe.
Divas division.
The only bad thing is, they're kind of making the Bella Twins faces by default right now. And it seems like that would be the natural thing to do when Karma did return, would be to go after them.
Thanks again, Total Divas, for screwing everything up.
If you want to talk Total Divas, oh man, let me tell you something about that Daniel Bryan thing. Whew. That's going to be some total drama there on Total Divas, which I'm totally going to watch because I'm totally a fan and it's totally my guilty pleasure, if you will. If you will.
Yeah, it's Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.s for me, but whatever.
Speaking of agents, today, October 1st, as we've been talking about, is reportedly the day when Hulk Hogan's contract with TNA ends, and there is no word on the two sides talking or coming to terms or anything. However, Mr. Anderson claims he's now within a week from signing a new deal with TNA, saying that he doesn't really see himself not be affiliated with the company. Mickie James was reportedly offered $60,000 a year to stay with the company, but she turned it down, as she charges $1,800 per indie appearance, and her band can charge up to $5,000 in total fees. Despite Bound for Glory, the biggest show of the year happening this month, October, TNA actually has no live events scheduled this month, only the Impact tapings in Tulsa and Salt Lake City. So, we've been talking about it for a few weeks. Hogan may be gone. TNA, no live events. Is it the horse limping to the barn, or whatever the expression is, or are we sort of on the cusp of perhaps seeing... Plus, when you look at TNA creatively, they're doing this whole Dixie storyline with AJ. Are they on the cusp of maybe salvaging something here?
Nope. To be completely honest. No, this looks like the dying days of a company. This is really beginning like WCW 2000, and this is really beginning to look like the end of the line for TNA.
I am very sad, but this is sounding very true.
Well, I said it before, but I think they really have two ways to do it. They can either accept what they are and go find and kind of get off the road and kind of find a centralized location again and, be happy that they've been able to maintain this 1-0 rating for so many years. And, focus on really embracing the stars that they have and maybe trying to get some up-and-comers. Or they can kind of sink with the ship and, maybe try and beg Hogan to stay or, and Bischoff too, and just spend money they don't have and just hope at some point something changes. But, it'll probably end up being the latter, but I guess time will tell. But TNA without Hogan, that'll be something. Perhaps too little too late.
So in other news, Nick Dinsmore is apparently replacing Joey Mercury as a coach in developmental, while Mercury is being sent up for a producer's job with the main roster. Pretty awesome. Some believe that Jim Ross will be back working with WWE by WrestleMania, or at least he would continue to be asked to contribute to interviews and DVD projects. That's not surprising. The Observer notes that JR tended to speak his mind to Vince McMahon, who is not used to people questioning him, and that Triple H tried to help Ross's standing. There was some controversy when several NXT promo classes got leaked on the internet, one in particular Australian wrestler Buddy Murphy, a.k.a. Matt Silva, who tapped into Australian stereotypes before breaking character to ridicule the company order persona and made reference to being a wrestler who coldly stares at the wall of the locker room and makes one wonder if he would, quote, go home and murder his children. I've seen this promo. I did a post on Woo about this promo. let me tell you something about this guy, Buddy Murphy. I love this character. However, that particular promo, the character I saw in the promo, the particular promo, I mean, it took a step too far with the murdering children part. But I'm highly excited to see, where he would come and where else he would come along, and where else he would go with it, because it's interesting to me.
I gotta admit, this guy sounds interesting.
I think he was just, obviously that wasn't meant for public consumption. I think he was just kind of shooting, not to put it in definite terms, but, kind of shooting the breeze, just kind of seeing what would work, seeing what, really what he was doing was trying to get attention. I think he was, controversial figures always kind of get attention, and that is kind of how you get attention these days. Everybody kind of wants to be, the past few years it's been a proven thing, CM Punk and his pipe bomb, and people kind of telling the truth almost. And so when you say something shocking like that, it kind of, for better or for worse, does kind of get that attention. I don't think it was anything super serious. I think he just kind of was trying it out. But, obviously something like that the company's not going to appreciate, because it's telling a little bit too much of the truth,
Oh, I gotta see this one. When this podcast is over, Gunner, you gotta show me where you found that video. But, yeah, sounds interesting.
Well, speaking of interesting, early ideas for WrestleMania include The Rock versus Brock Lesnar and The Undertaker defending his streak against, get ready for this, Ryback. The idea being that Paul Heyman would pick a larger guy to try and do what CM Punk couldn't do this year. If Rock doesn't do Mania this year, which the company is currently assuming won't, then Lesnar versus Taker is the go-to idea. A judge actually dismissed Anthony Dash's lawsuit that alleged WWE and Floyd Mayweather used a beat he created without permission at WrestleMania 24, but a district court rejected a petition to transfer Andrew Green's lawsuit against the company and Big Show to a federal court. As you'll recall, that lawsuit by Green alleged that he was attacked by Big Show when he tried to do an ordered backstage segment for the website, I believe. So,
I want to see Undertaker versus Ryback. Yep, I want to see it.
Yeah.
Totally want to see it. Absolutely and completely. Feed me.
What? What? Are you... I mean, I know this is the Undertaker.
I'm not serious.
Okay. You have me worried, scared shitless there for a second would be good. Yeah, but, yeah.
Will we get our Cena Punk WrestleMania then? Because that's the two names that are off of that list that I'm not seeing.
Well, I'm
Cena Punk Bryan?
It's just talk. It's early talk. I mean, now granted, they're planning things in advance more and more these days, but no, I think for whatever reason they really seem to like Ryback, and if this new run with Heyman goes well, then maybe they will make him Taker's opponent, just because it seems like every couple of years. But even before this whole idea that, the streak was really a big thing to end, like with Flair and like with Michaels and then Triple H and then whoever else, it was kind of like Taker faced these guys at Mania because he didn't really have that much else to do. He's kind of didn't he face he faced Mark Henry one year in that goofy casket match. I remember that, right?
Yep.
So, not that I think Ryback would actually have a chance at beating the streak. It's just sort of a match that they do because, it's almost like if you do one of those matches every single time, even though Taker is like, we're always afraid this is his last match. You know, it's like who else could really they put in that position that hasn't been there already?
Cena, that's it. I mean, the last big dream match is Undertaker versus Cena for the streak.
Well, nobody wants to see that.
I still think that the Bray Wyatt versus Undertaker, or Undertaker and Kane versus the Wyatt family, would be a great WrestleMania match. It would be able to hide everybody involved, and, you know, they would be able to put him over as the new supernatural character, if you will.
Yeah, that wouldn't be. But of course, they need to do something with the Wyatts more than just talk.
Yeah, it would be nice to see the Wyatts actually. It would be nice to see the Wyatts actually kicking some ass.
On Raw, at the Kofi Kingston segment, my video feed kind of just cut out. What happened? Did they go in?
He just sat down and talked.
And that was it? And then they cut the commercial?
Yeah, like Kofi was in the ring with a chair. And he was just talking something about now I see their true light, and now they'll all fall one by one, and it just basically the same stuff he's been saying for 2 months now, which, you know, isn't awful in its own right, but really, I mean, the point of a faction like this is to see them sort of take over little by little, and they haven't done anything. But I digress. I believe it's your turn.
I believe it is. Look at this. Carmen Revenge replaced Rebel Sky in the home bag during a recent show due to her lack of etiquette and respect for ring veterans, such as Sid Vicious. Scott fired back saying it didn't matter how long someone's been in the business because she never respect the no-show. Former women's champion Medusa allowed Blaze to Twitter to claim AJ was never will be champion as long as she officially holds the title, in fact, referring to the fact that she was never pinned for it, trying to get herself another payday. So a lot of ring drama there. I'm not totally surprised that she put her in a whole bag.
Well, you know, a good job on Rebby Sky to show how classy she is by sending, 7 or 8 profanity-laced tweets that I think she did do the courtesy of censoring, but, still, if you saw what they were, not great.
Doesn't she bang a Hardy?
Is that a plus or a negative?
That's a negative.
I don't know that Matt has ever no-shown, but, he has his own set of problems that, are not uncommon of a veteran that, you know what I mean?
Grapes. That's all I'm going to say. Grapes.
Yeah, this thing with Medusa, people are really getting upset about it. But I think, honestly, I thought, hadn't she been talking like that before? And, this is her way to sort of, almost like she's trying to work the angle. Well, I mean, maybe she's getting the bug again, and maybe she'll come in for a spot or something. I don't know. I mean,
I guess that would be cool if she came in and then AJ pinned her, and then she could call herself the undisputed women's champion. I mean, that doesn't necessarily have to actually be, a thing where she's the undisputed champion, but, she is a heel, so maybe she could just call herself that to get heat. It would be cool, I guess.
Well, I guess I guess I can't really tell if it's real or if she is kind of hinting toward that, or if she is, because people were bringing up, the fact that she threw the title in the trash and that's her legacy, and she seemed to get kind of upset about that. But it is kind of true when you think about it. That and making out with Evan Courageous in the middle of the ring. Yes, I certainly remember Medusa more than any other WCW girl growing up. If you can guess why.
Because she did porn?
She had a lot of buoyancy.
She had a lot of boobs? Is that what you just said?
She
did have a lot of boobs.
She floated quite well in the company. She rose to the top.
Oh boy!
I rose to the occasion.
Speaking of rising to the occasion, I'm stealing this last gimmick here. WWE is setting up a licensing deal with American Greetings, the world's largest publicly traded greeting card company, to produce cards, party favors, and more. They also signed a new deal with Totino's Pizza, and it's a call for kid-friendly Android things. Interesting to note that NXT star CJ Parker is among the listed superstars featured. The new season of Vortex with 2 X's on CW has started, and there's no sign of Saturday Morning Slam taping new episodes, suggesting it's finished, which is a real shame because it was a great show. Roddy Piper isn't in WWE 2K14 because he couldn't come to terms with Mr. T for WrestleMania 1 main event. John Cena tweeted Jimmy Fallon to do a #Mania video at WrestleMania with Justin Timberlake, which Fallon reacted favorably to, but Timberlake hasn't responded to. So I expect to see a #Mania promo thing coming out within the weeks before WrestleMania with Justin Timberlake and Jimmy Fallon. If you haven't seen the hashtag thing that they were talking about, basically it's how annoying you can be talking in hashtags. And it's Jimmy Fallon and Justin Timberlake sitting on a couch talking in hashtags, which is really fucking annoying. # shut the fuck up.
Yes, please.
I don't see Timberlake going crazy about doing a WrestleMania thing. He really doesn't need that.
I don't see him going crazy about it, but if it's something he would get a kick out of, and yeah, he seems like a guy who probably was a wrestling fan at some point. Or at least, all these celebrities and or even normal people, when you talk about it, they're like, oh yeah, I used to watch with my dad, or I knew it would come on, this night or this morning. I would watch it sometimes, that kind of thing.
Well, also, I'm surprised to learn that Hallmark is not the largest publicly traded greeting card company.
Well, Hallmark doesn't make the cards, right? They just sell them.
Correct, and they also have their own brand of card.
Well, you go in any Hallmark store, you see tons of American Greetings. So.
They're outsourced. They're outsourced.
I can't wait to get my Bella Twins. Sorry, I gave you VD card.
Oh, you knew we were going straight there.
I need to give those to. I am a little disappointed.
Yes, I'm pregnant.
Yeah, that's enough of that.
Congratulating you on your 6-pound baby goat.
6-pound baby goat, yes.
No!
Give me till the end of the show. I'll think of a good one.
No, I mean, if you can't improv, then you don't get to do it.
Well, the only one I can think of isn't funny, and it's kind of offensive too.
Oh, well,
go for it.
No, I couldn't. It doesn't even make sense, really.
He doesn't have one, so
It's I'll pay for half of the feed me motion.
I didn't get that one.
Yeah, I didn't even come up with it. I stole it from Stroker and Hoop.
let's let's get into segment 2.
If you remember that fine cartoon.
Yes.
Yeah, so let's get out of this feed me portion and go into segment 2, which is the 15 time limit. And this week in the 15 minutes on there, we have the WWE Battleground Predictions. Battleground is coming to you live this Sunday. And so in the pre-show match, we have the match where pretty much everybody wants to watch. Dolph Ziggler versus Damien Sandow.
Well, I guess both men are used to losing. Or just being in irrelevant matches in general, so I can only assume, why not have Ziggler win to kind of warm up the crowd?
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Alright, well, let's just skip on down. That's the thing. There's only 6 matches, including the pre-show match for this show. So far. There might be more on SmackDown announced, but...
It seems unnecessary. Like, do we really need Battleground? Like, couldn't they have just waited till Hell in a Cell?
We probably said it last year, too. These kind of... This 13th pay-per-view that happens in October that, three weeks in between the other two, it seems very... Especially with the storyline going on right now, and there's not a whole lot of progression to it. Which I guess we'll get to in a minute, but how about AJ versus Brie Bella for the Divas title?
Twin Magic for the win.
Wait a
That's what
minute.
I was thinking.
I thought the other Bella had an injury or something.
Apparently she's okay now. But even if she wasn't, that's not Nick. That's Nikki, not Brie. So Brie is good to go for the Divas title against AJ. Which they kind of introduced Tamina as AJ's new heavy, which is kind of pointless unless they're going to keep the belt on AJ.
Did that happen on SmackDown?
Probably.
Yeah.
Because I don't watch SmackDown.
Wait a minute.
My wrestling segment of the week comes from SmackDown.
They even with the reality show, they don't really care that much about having a decent division, a decent competitive division. I mean, it's one thing that they're actually part of storylines again, and they actually get matches on the pay-per-view and TV and all, but, you listen to the commentary during any one of these matches, and they're just so disjointed and disconnected from what's actually going on. I mean, they were completely stumbling over themselves, talking, and they didn't even have a diva. It's not like they even had, AJ on commentary with them, kind of making quips at them and stuff, too, either. It just shows a certain level of uncaring, even with the reality show. But anyway, I have that sick feeling, like I'm sure everybody else does, that Brie will win. So enough of that. How about Cody Rhodes and Goldust versus Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins? And if the Rhodes family wins, they get their jobs back, including Goldust, I guess. And if the Shield wins, which they're not going to, then the Rhodes can't work there ever again.
Oh, there has to be some sort of shenanigans in this one. I'm calling it right now. I don't think this goes over clean in any way, shape, or form.
another match with Dusty Rhodes in it. If you don't think that this match will have a dusty finish, you are smoking something serious. The Rhodes family all get jobs back. This ends here and now, and with this shit. So,
hopefully it'll end, but in kayfabe, I don't think Steph and Triple H are going to let any threat to their superiority or leadership go unchallenged.
okay. How many bionic gallows?
At least one.
Three, because one for each of the Shield members that are actually in the match, and then one for the Shield member that is not, because he will be at ringside as well.
Dean Ambrose.
Dean Ambrose, and there's always a situation that Hunter or Steph might come to the ring themselves, so if that happens, look out.
I'm going to say they win with interference. And we're going to move on to a match that I'm looking forward to absolutely and completely, because this time last year we had the same match. CM Punk versus Ryback.
Oh, Jesus.
And this time with 100% more fake marriage proposals.
I enjoyed the marriage proposal. Not gonna lie.
You know, I think it would have been better if he actually had proposed marriage rather than what we got instead. However, points, because I got fucking worked, and I really thought for a second there that was what was going to happen.
Yeah, I started tapping when Paulie got down on one knee.
Yeah, it's the kind of segment that Heyman can really do, and really do well. It was pretty goofy, but, for a segment in 2/3 of the show that was designed to fill time, because, they can't... Heyman was on the show like 3 times last night, and that's because, they're desperate to fill those 3 hours, and I can't figure out how, even with only 3 weeks until a pay-per-view and a story that, I don't know. I guess it's supposed to conclude at Hell in a Cell, but anyway. So they still, speaking of which, they still need excuses for Punk to kind of stay out of the main storyline, and I guess you gotta believe there'd be some kind of shenanigans that Ryback might win, but it would be really dirty, or Punk will win, but maybe not necessarily clean. Like, maybe he'll win by DQ, I don't know. It seems like... I just don't know. I don't think they know either, that's the problem.
It's going to be Bully Rai. He's going to win through Paul Heyman shenanigans, and then they're going to have a no DQ match at Hell in a Cell, and no one is going to care.
This match is already no DQ.
What?
This match is going to be no DQ. They made that on Raw this week.
Well, maybe it'll be no PU for the Hell in the Cell.
Hopefully. Oh no, it was the next one. Never mind. Alberto versus Rob Van Dam, a Battleground Hardcore Rules match for the World Heavyweight title. Battleground Hardcore Rules. Is that like a Chicago street fight and a New York street fight and a Philly street fight?
I would hope
And
so.
a Boston
I mean,
street fight.
I want to see
Street Fight doesn't roll off the tongue quite as well.
I want to see some old-fashioned ECW use of prop shenanigans. I want to see where they'd go with that.
And if you don't think Alberto Del Rio is going to play the match, this time, 2 years ago, when he was competing for the WWE Championship versus John Cena, and I think it was the last man standing match. It was amazing.
Yeah, this is one of those matches on paper that doesn't sound very good, but could really, for as kind of stale as Del Rio is, he's staler than saltines in the Sahara. But, he can really kind of pull off a decent pay-per-view match when he's working that match with Christian the other month. I thought was really good. I didn't think the Night of Champions match, I didn't think it was amazing, but I thought it was well put together. And, you bring in the hardcore element and all the wacky stuff they could do. Who knows?
I expect a Van Joner with Ricardo holding the thing, and I expect probably them to go over because he should have last month, basically.
Well, there's that weird thing about his contract we mentioned. Is he supposed to be taking a break or not? Or I'm actually going to make the bold prediction, because why not, that Van Dam will win, but then Damien Sandow will come down and use some of the weapons and handcuff him to the rope using the handcuffs that he has for his briefcase because Cody stole it, and then pin Van Dam and become the champion. That prediction's so bold, you're all left speechless.
Absolutely speechless.
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
Alright, well, let's hurry this along. I said last month, even though that last match kind of sounds better now that we talked about it, I said last month I didn't really care about Night of Champions. I don't think I care about... I think I care about this one even less. Particularly this main event, which is Daniel Bryan versus Randy Orton for the vacant WWE Championship. And the problem with this feud/match is that up until that last moment of Raw, it hasn't really been a feud. They haven't really come face to face. They haven't really. Triple H is kind of the proxy guy, and it's not like Triple H is even favoring Orton anymore. He kind of berated Orton, and I know the idea is supposed to be, well, now Orton's back to being the vicious viper, and he attacked him in front of Brie, but he's already pinned Orton. He's already made him tap. It's like, this is kind of like just stalling. And plus the fact that Hell in a Cell is 3 weeks away, so are they going to cap it off with a Hell in a Cell match to boot? It all seems a little bit too... just badly timed, I guess.
Of course, if there's nothing but bad, what was I going to say? Oh yeah, if there's nothing but bad timing in the WWE wouldn't have any timing at all.
I don't know. I mean, I'm ready for this feud to be over with. I'm ready for someone new to jump in the feud, like Big Show. That'd be perfectly acceptable. I mean, obviously, we've seen that before, but I really just don't want to see Orton versus Bryan again, because it's kind of boring. Anybody else think that a Triple H and Stephanie McMahon versus a Daniel Bryan and Brie Bella match is going to happen sometime in the near future?
I hope, but I don't think so.
I don't know. I mean, the fact of the matter is Triple H. Yeah, the fact of the matter is Triple H is the real star of this feud so far. So, if he's not going to wrestle in it, then it would be kind of a little bit for naught. But, I agree with what you said about Orton. He's just not strong enough of a character, because they kind of built him up and then they beat him down again, and now he's back to being quote unquote vicious, but like we say, Bryan's already kind of beat him twice.
Yeah, not vicious. Yeah, he's not vicious enough. And Brian's already beat him, so he's not really a threat. I mean, this is all about the crying at this point.
Yeah, I mean, and like I said, they've had really, and it's only been 3 weeks since Night of Champions, but they really haven't had the interaction. That RKO on the table very much felt like a desperate last minute. Oh yeah, we gotta do something here.
Yep. This episode is not going well.
Yeah, we've had better ways of taking us into pay-per-views than what they just did last night on Raw.
I think the amount of dead air we keep having has a lot to do with how just absolutely unnecessary this pay-per-view.
Yeah, I mean, that's the problem with October. They try to cram 2 pay-per-views into the month, and we don't care. And we didn't care this last year. We didn't care the year before. Guarantee you we didn't care the year before that. You know, and this has been a consistent thing where it's just pay-per-view after pay-per-view after pay-per-view. And I'm tired of it. Alright, so that's it for the 15-minute time limit. We're going to go to break. Yankum, do we have some music set up?
No time for love, Dr. Jones. We are running out of broadcast time.
Alright, so then we're gonna stop here, and you guys can check us out, sparknock.com, and check out part 2. We'll open up with whatever song that Yankum had queued up, and then we'll get into his segment.